T.S. Eliot, The Wasteland. Part 2. A game of chess. The chair she sat in, like a burnished throne, glowed on the marble, with a glass held up by standards wrought with fruited vines, from which a golden cupidon peeped out. Another hid his eyes behind his wing. Doubled the flames of 7-branched candelabra, reflecting the light upon the table, as the glitter of her jewels rose to meet it. From satin cases poured in rich profusion, in vials of ivory and colored glass, unstoppered, lurked her strange, synthetic perfumes, unguent, powdered or liquid, troubled, confused, and drowned the scents and odors, stirred by the air that freshened from the window. These ascended in fattening the prolonged candle flames, flung their smoke into the lacquer area, stirring the pattern on the coffered ceiling. Huge sea wood, fed with copper, burned green and orange, framed by the colored stone, in which, sad light, a carved dolphin swam. Above the antique mantel was displayed, as though a window gave upon the sylvan scene, the change of Philomel, by the barbarous king so rudely forced. Yet there the nightingale filled all the desert with inviolable voice, and still she cried, and still the world pursues. Chug, chug, to dirty ears. And other withered stumps of time were told upon the walls. Staring forms leaned out, leaning, hushing the room enclosed. Footsteps shuffled on the stair. Under the firelight, under the brush, her hair, spread out in fiery points, glowed into words, then would be savagely still. My nerves are bad tonight. Yes, bad. Stay with me. Speak to me. Why do you never speak? Speak. What are you thinking of? What thinking? What? I never know what you're thinking. Think. I think we are in Rat's Alley, where the dead men lost their bones. What is that noise? The wind under the door. What is that noise now? What is the wind doing? Nothing. Again, nothing. Do you know nothing? Do you see nothing? Do you remember nothing? I remember those are pearls that were his eyes. Are you alive or not? Is there nothing in your head? But oh, that Shakespearean rag, it's so elegant, so intelligent. What shall I do now? What shall I do? I shall rush out as I am and walk the street with my hair down. So, what shall we do tomorrow? What shall we ever do? The hot water at 10, and if it rains, a closed car at 4, and we shall play a game of chess. Pressing lidless eyes and waiting for the knock upon the door. When Lil's husband got demobbed, I said, I didn't mince my words. I said to myself, hurry up, please, it's time. Now Albert's come back. Make yourself a bit smart. You'll want to know what you've done with that money he gave you to have yourself some teeth. He did, I was there. You had them all out, Lil. and getting nice set, I said. Huh, I swear I can't bear to look at ye. And no more can't I said. And think of poor Albert. He's been in the army 4 years. He wants a good time. And if you don't give it him, as others will, I said. Oh, who's there, she said. Something like that, I said. And I'll know who to thank, she said. And give me a straight look. Hurry up, please. It's time. If you don't like it, you can get on with it, I said. Oh, let's pick and choose if you can't. But if Albert makes off, it won't be for like a telling. You ought to be ashamed, I said, looking so antique. And her only 31. I can't help it, she said, pulling a long face. It's them pills I took to bring it off, she said. She's had 5 already. Nearly died of young George. The chemist said it would be all right, but I've never been the same. You are a proper fool, I said. Well, if Albert won't leave you alone, there it is, I said. What do you get married for if you don't want children? Hurry up, please, it's time. Well, that Sunday Albert was home. They had a hot gammon, and they asked me in to dinner to get the beauty of it out. Hurry up, please, it's time. Hurry up, please, it's time. Good night, Bill. Good night, Lou. Good night, May. Good night, Tata. Good night. Good night. Good night, ladies. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night. Good night. Part 3. The Fire Sermon. The river's tent is broken. The last fingers of leaf clutch and sink into the wet bank. The wind crosses the brown land unheard. The nymphs are departed. Sweet Thames, run softly till I end my song. The river bears no empty bottles. Sandwich papers, silk handkerchiefs, cardboard boxes, cigarette ends, or other testimony of summer nights. The nymphs are departed. And their friends, the loitering heirs of city directors, departed, have left no address. By the waters of Lehman, I sat down and wept. Sweet Thames, run softly till I end my song. Sweet Thames, run softly, for I speak not loud or long. But at my back I hear, in a cold blast I hear, the rattle of bones and chuckles spread from ear to ear. A rat crept softly through the vegetation, dragging his slimy belly on the bank. While I was fishing in the Dog Canal, on a winter evening round behind the gas house, musing upon the king, my brother's wreck, and on the king, my father's death before him. White bodies naked on the low, damp ground, and bones cast in a little low, dry garret, rattled by the rat's foot only year to year. But at my back from time to time, I hear the sound of horns and motor cars, which shall bring Sweeney to Mrs. Porter in the spring. Oh, the moon shone bright on Mrs. Porter and her daughter. They washed their feet in the soda water. Et de ces voix d'enfants chantant dans la coupole. Twit, twit, twit. Chug, chug, chug. Chug, chug, chug. So rudely forced. Tareu. Unreal city. Under the brown fog of a winter noon, Mr. Eugenides, the Smyrna merchant unshaven, with a pocketful of currants, CIF, London, documents at sight, asked me in demotic French to luncheon at the Cannon Street Hotel, followed by a weekend at the Metropole. At the violet hour, when the eyes and back turn upward from the desk, when the human engine waits like a taxi, throbbing and waiting, I, Tiresias, though blind, throbbing between two lives. Old man with wrinkled female breasts can see at the violet hour, the evening hour, that strives homeward and brings the sailor home from sea, the typist home at tea time, clears her breakfast, lights her stove, and lays out food in tins. Out of the window, perilously spread, her drying combinations touched by the sun's last rays. On the divan are piled, at night, her bed, stockings and slippers, camisoles and stays. And I, Tiresias, old man with wrinkled dugs, perceived the scene and foretold the rest. I too awaited the expected guest. And he, the young man carbuncular, arrives. A small house agent's clerk with one bold stare, one of the low on whom assurance sits as a silk hat on a Bradford millionaire. The time is now propitious, as he guesses. The meal is ended, and she is bored and tired. Endeavors to engage her in caresses which still are unreproved, if undesired. Flushed and decided, he assaults at once. Exploring hands encounter no defense, and his vanity requires no response and makes a welcome of indifference. And I, Tiresias, have forsuffered all, and acted on this same divan or bed. I, who have sat by Thebes below the wall, and walked among the lowest of the dead, bestows one final patronizing kiss and gropes his way, fighting the stairs unlit. She turns and looks a moment in the glass, hardly aware of her departed lover. Her brain allows one half-formed thought to pass. Well, now that's done, and I'm glad it's over. When lovely woman stoops to folly and paces about her room again alone, she smooths her hair with automatic hand and puts a record on the gramophone. This music crept by me upon the waters and along the Strand, up Queen Victoria Street. Oh, city, I can sometimes hear, beside a public bar in lower Thames Street, the pleasant whining of a mandolin, and a clatter and a chatter from within, where fishmen lounge at noon, where the walls of Magnus Martyr hold inexplicable splendor of Ionian white and gold. The river sweats oil and tar. The barges drift with a turning tide, red sails wide to leeward swing on the heavy spar. The barges wash drifting logs down Greenwich, reach past the Isle of Dogs. Way la 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 la, wa la 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 la. Elizabeth and Leicester beating oars, the stern was formed, a gilded shell, red and gold. The brisk swell rippled both shores, southwest wind carried downstream the peal of bells, white towers. Way la 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 la, wa la 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 la. trams, and dusty trees. Highbury bore me, Richmond and Kew undid me. By Richmond I raised my knees supine on the floor of a narrow canoe. My feet are at Moorgate, my heart under my feet. After the event he wept, and he promised a new start. I made no comment. What should I resent? On Margate sands I can connect nothing with nothing. The broken fingernails of dirty hands. My people, humble people who expect nothing. La la. To Carthage then I came, burning, 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 burning. O Lord, thou pluckest me out. O Lord, thou pluckest. Burning. The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot. Part 4. Death by Water. Phlebas the Phoenician, a fortnight dead, forgot the cry of gulls, and the deep sea swell, and the profit and loss. A current under sea picked his bones in whispers. As he rose and fell, he passed the stages of his age and youth, entering the whirlpool. Gentile or Jew, O you who turn the wheel and look to windward, consider Phlebas, who was once handsome and tall as you.